McBeanis. Alright, so the video on Instagram actually got 1,000 likes, which is crazy. It's actually at 1,500 as of making this video, so that's pretty dope. So I am going to make a tutorial on how I actually did the dual display setup for my Flx10. The secret is OBS. I already said that before. It's not perfect by any means. It's just the solution, so take it as you will. So this is OBS. So basically, what I ended up doing is just creating a skin in Pixelmator Pro. Photoshop is too expensive, RIP. So it was originally purple, but if you want, I can maybe put the download for the skin if people want it. It's pretty shit. I made it in 2 minutes, but if people want it, I guess I can release it. But there's a way you can do this in OBS without doing this as well. I can show you that. But if you do use this, you simply just go to filters, add a color correction, color multiply. You're going to go ahead and just choose whatever color you want. Saturation, make sure it's all the way down. As you see, it's purple. Or if you want to do something like that, that's kind of cool. It'll be that. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. Not sure. This is what I mean. OBS is weird. So it's not perfect. So essentially what you do is just add these two scenes in, put your image in, if you're doing this at least. And then for the browser, it's a little bit different. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but there is a window capture here. So go ahead and add a window capture. And then in here, the cat just jumped in my lap. You'll select the window. And in this case, you're gonna make sure you have Rekordbox already running. Once you're in Rekordbox, make sure to hit this icon in the bottom right. This is what's going to pop out the browser, and that's what you need to happen. So you make sure, and this is not my main machine, so I don't have any tracks. We'll just work with this. In this case, my cat is on my keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and put this in 4, because if you want to, you can just do 2 tracks. You don't have to do 4. Actually, we'll just do 2. And we're just going to loop these. Make sure it's matched. I guess I don't fucking works. I don't use sync. Hello? Cool. Anyways. Basically, once you're actually add in your window capture, we'll just not rename that because I don't really care. Rekordbox null, automatic works. Sometimes it's weird. But you want this to be enabled whenever you're actually capturing it, because this is what makes it where every time you reopen OBS, it comes back on. So you want that to be on, but basically it does that. So I have to set to this. It may or may not work for you. I don't know. Once you add in your image, and again, this is why OBS is weird. Wait, it's doing it. Cool. You take this, you can resize it, you can do whatever you want. Because this is what you're going to be using to put on your projection screens. That's where you're going to be placing everything and what's going to be actually projecting onto the monitors. So essentially, resize this to however you want. In this case, I also made a image for the browser. It's just a box. You can do that however you want, resize it, fit it in the box, whatever. I fucked that up. So, which I've already done this. So we're gonna go back to browser for this, because I've already resized my image in my window capture. So then just group it together. That way you can move this and resize this whole thing as one thing. That makes sense. And then if you're using these, you'll have these set up. So that's if you're running all of this. If you're not, and you just want to have the waveforms and you want to customize it yourself and you just want to see how everything works, I will leave timestamps in the description, so that way you guys can just skip past the overlay stuff and you guys can just see how you display everything. So this is just going to be not a full tutorial, because once you see how this works, you'll just get it. Anyways, we're just going to name this stick. Also just name it project, that way we know it's a different screen. Once you're in here, you're basically able to add in the scene, and you don't have to do this for the skin if you're just running just an image. You can just add in the image. It just makes it simpler, because you'll see why OBS is weird, but for the images it doesn't matter. You can just add in the image and not have it. Wait, scratch that. I lied. If you do want to do this, I'm stupid. Never mind, scratch that. Continue. So we're going to end up adding both of our scenes. Once we add our scene, we're good to go. We just need to add in basically Rekordbox from here. So we're just going to add a new scene. You can name this whatever you want. You can name it the waveforms. You can name it whatever. We're gonna do a window capture. Name doesn't really matter. Capture record box this time. Window title must match. It matters because if you restart record box and you don't have that on, it will not work every time. So make sure to fit the screen. Gonna look weird, but that's totally fine. And record box. Now this does matter. I may show you why, but just understand OBS is just fucking weird. In this case, we're gonna go back into our projection screen, add in whatever we called this, in this case deck 1 waveform. We'll go into filter, add, and we'll just crop. You can try copying the same settings if you're on a 1080p monitor, but I'm just gonna guess that's pretty close. This may be different for it. Alright, next we got this, and then I like to do. Anyways, you can resize this however you want. This is just what works for me. In this case, we're gonna stop there and simply just place it in the box. You can press Ctrl Shift. This lets you resize this however you want without using the alignment box, whatever it's called, the grid, where it snaps points and stuff as you move it and stuff, and you can free transform. Anyways, size it however you want and lock it into place. Boom, you got a waveform. Cool. Next, we're just gonna simply add in our display here. So we're gonna do, make sure to rename this however it works for you. New window capture, grid box, boom, title match. I turn off capture cursor. We'll make sure to fit the screen. Doesn't really matter. And I know this seems like a lot, and it is, but we're not using it to record. So it doesn't use that much resources. I don't know if you can already see on my screen. You can see my metrics in the top right. CPU, we're good. And my rig's not beefy. Well, I guess it is beefy, but it's not a crazy rig. But just keep in mind, we're not using this to record. We're just using this to project, and it really doesn't use that much resources because I was running this on the Legion Go, and I don't really have issues. The only issues I have with the Legion Go is sometimes it likes to change the display size of this, or the UI changes the size, and the record box, it just messes everything up. Anyways, once we have this in here, go back into your projection screen, we're going to add in a new scene, we're going to add in display, and then we're just going to resize this the same way. And this is all you do for basically everything. When you're customizing everything, you just choose all the elements you want. You can change it up however you want, whatever you do, whatever skin you want, it does not matter. Again, this is just a solution. It works. Is it the greatest? No, but it works. So who cares? And if you want, I can actually just give out my project file that actually has everything set up. It may or may not work for you guys, but if you want, I can release that. Might make it easier for people, unless if you want to just customize it, it's fine. So this is what we got with this. Again, you can copy the same numbers, it does not matter. Anyways, the way that I did the split here is I just did separate scenes for each element. That's all you're really doing. You're just separating everything. So in this case, I'm just going to do this because I'm not going to make a super long tutorial. Because again, once you see how to do this, you can kind of figure it out for yourself. I don't know, give me a goal. Maybe we can do something where I release the project file and the skin if people want it. They're shit, but it works. Anyways, once you basically have this, you're pretty much done. You just take whatever elements you want and put it wherever you want them to go, customize it however you want. You're just doing this for whatever you want. If you want to get the filter knobs in, you can get them put in here, your color effect. For me, I put on deck 1 and 3, I put the actual display here with the BPM for each one. And then again, for this, I just separated this out into separate boxes. And then for the top, I just took literally this top portion of record box. So if you've seen it in my other videos, you already know what it looks like. I showed it off a little bit. So if you guys want the project file, give me a like, maybe we'll do something with that, and then I'll just give that out to make it easier. But this is the secret behind it, that's all it is. And then once you're basically done from here, you would just create your next projection screen. In this case, it would be deck 2, 4. And you're just doing the same thing. Add in your scene, resize everything, do the exact same thing. Again, it seems like a lot, but I promise you're not using it to record. It doesn't use that much resources. You might need a little bit decent of a machine, don't get me wrong, but it's really not that bad. And you can basically run this on any machine that can run OBS. And then basically once you're done with every project, all you really have to do is go into here, right click, open scene projector, choose your monitor. It displays every monitor. That's how I did the dual display. I literally just made a projection screen for the left monitor and then one for the right. So click in, boom, and that's your screen. Obviously you don't have actual touch controls or anything with the Legion Go or with the external monitor. The external monitor is supposed to be a touch screen. For some reason it doesn't work. I might have got scammed. But anyways, that's all it really is. So there's no big secret, I promise. People have been doing this for a while. It's just setup work. But let me know if you guys want the project file and I'll see what I'll do. And that'll maybe just make it easier that you guys can just go in and just make sure that your window capture and stuff is set up properly. You might have to do that, but otherwise we'll just come up with that. Anyways, like I said, this is all I'm really going to show. I'm not going to go much further than this. Once you see how it's done, you already know. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I do want to do, 44.wav. I'll put a link to the original post that kind of inspired this whole thing in the first place. He did it with C++, which is way cooler, and what I want to actually end up doing as well. It'd be cool if maybe I could help him with it or do something with him with that. That would be dope. I don't really know C++, but I'm a quick learner with shit. Anyways, I should stop. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys. I hope you guys enjoy Schranz. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Schranz. I might be fucking it up. Anyways, because that's mostly what I do. I just started producing as well. I just started producing Schranz, and I've been mixing it for a while, so if that's what you guys are into, or more techno stuff, that's basically more of my content. So if you guys enjoyed, please check me out, follow me, and check out my music. Anyways, later.